Hey YouTube, recently I drove from Chicago to Florida and had rented a car and was listening to satellite radio. I was doing some research on it afterwards. I saw that there weren't any recent Sirius XM reviews, so I thought I'd make this video for someone looking to maybe purchase in 2021. I want to give my experience, my overall, how I felt about both the service, the customer service, the quality of those things. Some caveats first. I just had the radio for about a week. It wasn't activated when I got the car, which I'll talk about more in a minute. And I just had, most of my driving experience came kind of over the course of 2 or 3 days. So I probably spent about 25 total hours with the radio. So just want to give that information for anybody. I'll also be comparing it to Spotify. I've never had the paid version of Spotify, just the free version. But I think that also makes for an interesting point of comparison. So overall, what did I think? If I had to give it a grade, A through F, I'd probably give it a B, B minus. I thought that, I'll kind of go through my experience to kind of explain why that is. When I first got the car, I realized that the radio wasn't activated, even though I had paid for satellite radio with the rental car company. I drove probably 6 or 7 hours, got to a place where I was stopping, and called Sirius XM customer service. This was on a Saturday to see if I could get the radio activated. There was no one there. So I unfortunately had to wait till Monday to finally get the radio activated. When I did reach Sirius, they were very good. Having worked in customer service for a pretty long time, I can tell pretty quickly the difference between good customer service and bad customer service. I thought your customer service was actually quite good. They patched me through to the rental car company. The rental car company eventually was able to activate the radio. I think this is 2 or 3 days after I'd gotten it. That being said, I think if you pride yourself on your size and scope and the ability to have radio from coast to coast without interruptions, you could probably also afford to have a customer service rep there on a Saturday. If they had told me, this is really something that the car company can help you out with, I would have probably had the radio activated a day or two sooner. So I don't think that's completely Sirius's fault, but I do think that it felt a little bit, I think it hurt them a little bit on the customer service side. There's also, from what I've seen in doing research, there's a lot of horror stories about the customer service being similar to cable companies, of just trying to pressure people into staying when they want to leave and being very not upfront or opaque about how the pricing works. So once I got the radio working, I was actually really happy with it. I think that compared to my recollection of terrestrial radio, it's much better. I'm not sure exactly what package I had in the rental, but I had probably 100 channels of music and another 100 channels of other stuff, including sports, comedy, talk, which I'm not as interested in the latter half. I was really interested in the music. So I thought that was a really big plus in Sirius's favor. I think that I got to hear things I'd never heard before, which as a music fan is always really cool. I think that channels that are kind of more niche, Bluegrass Junction is probably a pretty good example. They do a good job balancing people who are just kind of getting into the genre while also trying to find new things for people to hear. So I thought that was appreciated. So overall, I was happy with that. I think that on the flip side, there were some channels that may have been like short-term channels, Yacht Rock for sure, even 80s on 8. I was surprised by how shallow some of those playlists felt. Especially Yacht Rock, I felt like they probably only had 30 to 40 songs. Now that may be because it's a short-lived thing, but even in the time I was listening in the car, I would hear the same song. I heard George Benson, Give Me the Night, 2 or 3 times. Sailing, obviously, by Christopher Cross, I heard it a bunch of times. So I was surprised by that to some degree. But overall, I did enjoy the music. I thought that it was deeper in some places, which I appreciated. The Tom Petty radio was a standout. Little Steven's Underground Garage I enjoyed quite a bit. The Dwight Yoakam Country Channel I liked a lot. Bakersfield Country, I think it's called. So I enjoyed all those things. I think that like I said, some of the stations the playlist felt a little shallow, and that can be probably improved pretty easily. I thought the sound quality was pretty good. I didn't have any problems with reception, which is something else I've seen kind of people bring up. Even in driving through really, really, really heavy rain through the mountains, the reception held for the most part. I think there was only like 2 drops in my drive. So that wasn't really noticeable. I've also seen other people complain about the DJ banter. That also really was not noticeable to me. I enjoyed it for the most part. I didn't mind really the station IDs or them IDing other stations that you may be interested in. So if they were playing a Beatles song, for instance, on the 70s channel, they would call out that there's a Beatles channel if you want to listen to more Beatles. I don't really have a problem with that. So those were overall my thoughts on it. I think the question a lot of people have is, who is this for and what is the price point? I think that if you're someone who spends a lot of time in your car and you like listening to different genres of music, or you just don't have the time to put together like a playlist, or you're really bored by regular radio and kind of the nonstop ads, satellite radio may be for you. They also have quite a bit of sports coverage, so if you're interested in any kind of college football, Major League Baseball, any of those things, that you're kind of pretty well covered on that, NFL football. The price point I think is where most people have a hard time with it. I think from what I've seen, the prices range from like $11 for just the app to I think somewhere in the range of $20. And I think for that price, it's overpriced. I think that there's probably, if someone said to me, what do you think the magic price is for this service? I'd say for the in-car service, it's probably about $5 a month. I think that for $5 a month, you're getting a really good service. I compare it to something like Spotify. A lot of people who kind of look down on satellite radio say, well, why do you even need this? You have something like Spotify. Again, I've never used the non-ad supported version of Spotify, so I can't speak to it. But my problem with Spotify is just I had another road trip and I was in the car for about 2.5 hours and listened to Spotify for a couple hours. Even with the playlist I had created, I had to listen to an ad every 2 or 3 songs. It was usually with Serena Williams, so that's the other part, is they have like 3 ads that they cycle all the time. And it's not just one ad, it's repeated, so you're listening to 2 minutes of ads for every 5 minutes of music. And so I found that to be quite obnoxious. I think also the features to find new music on Spotify that are good, that you're actually going to like, are not quite there compared to something like a satellite radio. So I think that those things work in their advantage. I think, too, I have a hard time finding the thing with the satellite radio. I feel the finding of different genres is really easy. They're all in the station names, so you just kind of cycle through. If you want to listen to jazz, you can listen to smooth jazz, contemporary jazz. I was surprised they had as few jazz channels as they did, given kind of the long recorded history of jazz music. It may just be one of those things where I had a smaller package than what is available. I'm not quite sure what the different package sizes are, but I was a little surprised at that. There's no Celtic music station, and there's no a cappella music station. And given the price points, if I was paying $20 a month, I would expect essentially every type of music genre for that much money. So I do think that there is value to the service. I think that just the lack of ads alone is valuable. I think the sound quality, for me at least, was pretty good. My hearing's not the best, but comparing the Spotify experience I had to the satellite XM, I didn't see a really noticeable difference at all between the two of them. Maybe the satellite radio should have been a little clearer. I'm not sure. I was driving 70 miles an hour, so I don't know how much I was going to be able to hear true high fidelity kind of regardless. But I did want to share that. Like I said, I think if someone was to say what is the biggest problem with satellite, I think it's the pricing. I think it's too high given the givens. I think comparing something like Netflix to something like satellite radio, it's surprising to me that one of those things costs more than the other. And that thing that costs more than the other is satellite costs more than like a Netflix subscription, which to me is kind of crazy. So that is to say, I don't know if they're ever going to actually come down in price. I don't know what the future holds for them. I think it's a fun service to have when you're traveling. I don't know how much I would use it if I was day-to-day walking around. Like I said, I think that the ability to find new music and music I haven't heard before is pretty good. And I think that's kind of its biggest advantage. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on satellite radio. If you have opinions, please leave them in the comment section below. Until next time, bye.